What up, Wolves? Blade Master here with the second or with the round of 16 matchup that I played against Azrail in the Indypride's tournament, which was celebrating his 3,000 subscribers, I believe. It's got a really interesting system of faction picking where, well, actually, let me. You guys have seen the factions, anyways. I've taken Massilia in this matchup, and he's taken Macedon. And the system that I was talking about is that well, initially the person who's on top of the brackets, in this case it was Azrail, gets to choose which map he wants to fight the battle in, and secondly, after he chooses the map, he provides basically two choices to his opponent, which is me, and those two choices are any two factions that he would like to pick. So in this case, he gave me a choice between Carthage and Macedon, and I had to choose which one I wanted to play against, and I chose Macedon. And throughout this tournament, you can only use each faction once. So I wanted to get rid of the lower factions in this game. It's a risky strategy, but it could prove useful in the later stages if I manage to win through the round of 16 and round of 8 and stuff like that. So I, on the other hand, gave him a choice between Carthage and Massilia. Clearly, I wanted him to pick Massilia because Carthage is a much stronger faction, and I had the intention of taking Massilia and trying to win this game with it. So here's my Massilian build. I've gone with. We're playing the map of Arminium, by the way. I've taken 4 Massilian cavalry, a couple of Levy Freemen behind them. So, you know, I love Levy Freemen. They're a great, cheap unit. And the fact that Massilia has them, it's an amazing boost for them. I've also taken a total of 4 Thorax Swordsmen, 2 on either flank. I've brought 3 Massilian Hoplites, including 1 Massilian Hoplite General, 3 Axe Warriors, and 4, what's it called? Massilian Thureospears. Yeah, 4 Massilian Thureospears. Initially, I'd put them in a huge barbarianish line, just one solid line covering as much ground as possible. But I saw that he had brought pikes and a mixture of pikes and archers. And initially, I was fearing Cretan archers, but it looks like he's only brought regular archers, 4 regular Hellenic archers behind 4 strong 600 talent pikemen. He's brought a total of 4 Thessalian cav, and each of them is going to be backed up by 1 Thureospear. And he's also brought 4 Thorax Swordsmen on the flanks and 1 Royal Peltis General. So I moved my Thureospears up in the middle because I wanted them to start firing their javelins on the pikemen, and in any case they'd be able to absorb all that archer fire. And on the other hand, I'm going to issue attack orders with my Levy Freeman pretty soon on his Thessalian cav, and eventually they're just going to run in to his Thureospears and then absorb all those Thureospears' javelin ammunition. He's going to charge in with this is a very ballsy, but it's a smart charge with his Thessalian cav right onto my Thorax Swordsman. I put 1 on shield wall, but he evaded that one and just charged into the rest. He's gotten a pretty decent charge on my Massilian Thureospears, but while he's going to move back with his Thessalian cav, I'm going to get great javelin volleys on them, so they are going to take a lot of casualties. I can see he's brought some more Thessalians over there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move behind with my Massilian cav, issue an attack order with my Levy Freeman, give them or present them as the charge bait, and then I'm going to back up and attack with my Massilian cav later on, and you know, just kill off this flank with my excess swordsman. He's attacked with his Thorax Swordsman on my Massilian Thureospears, but I'm going to back them up with some Massilian Hoplites, and I'm going to put you know, Hoplite phalanx on them. Here, my Levy Freeman have engaged with his Thorax Swordsman, but that's alright because it's going to give enough time for my Thorax Swords to get a pretty decent charge on them, but they've already taken a ton of casualties from that initial Thessalian cav charge. But I'm going to get a pretty uninterrupted charge, rear charge with my Massilian cav onto his Thessalians, so that's going to be pretty devastating for them, I think. Massilian cav are an excellent anti-cav unit, and if you can get a proper charge with them, they will start racking up the kills very quickly. But he's got a Thureospear here that will be pretty influential in that battle if he can get them to attack that flank very quickly. His Royal Peltists have come up in front, and they're going to engage my Massilian Thureospears and this blob over here. But I've got some Massilian Hoplites, and I'm going to put them in Hoplite phalanx. Meanwhile, I've also gotten into the rear of his line with one of my excess Massilian cav, and I've killed off a lot of his archers. He's only got a couple of archers now, and one of them is pretty depleted. And I've got another one here, the other Massilian cav, who's going to come in for a pretty nice charge on his rear charge on his Thorax Swordsman. Just trying to create some morale shocks and kill off as many of his units, punch some holes through his line. Getting another charge in on his archer line, and the brittleness of his pike line is kind of showing here. He just doesn't have the maneuverability that's necessary to protect his vulnerable archers with his pikemen. Here, my Thorea spears have blobbed up in square formation. I haven't turned on Hoplite phalanx for my Massilian Hoplites, which is a big mistake. But I'm going to come in for a downhill rear charge with my Thorax swordsman. I didn't get a proper charge, so eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them off and then get another proper downhill charge on them. This Massilian Cav is starting to die after killing off a lot of his Thessalians, because he backed them up with some Thorea spears and they came in to reinforce. My other Massilian Cav is starting to die just from... Oh yeah, this is actually a really good move. He pulled up with his pikemen and issued attack orders with them, so there was this blob here that my Massilian Cav couldn't escape out of without touching his pikes, so they actually suffered a lot of casualties in the process. My Axe Warriors have got a lot of kills, 75 kills, but they are starting to die now. My Thorax Swordsmen, on the other hand, are going to last for a little bit, and that's a perfect use for a Thorax Swordsman. They'll just absorb all that damage and they'll take a long time to die. My Massilian Hoplites have been attacked in the rear by his Royal Peltas. It looks like I think he's taken them off of a formation attack. But either ways, I've put them on Hoplite Wall, so they'll last for a long time. His Royal Peltas, meanwhile, have lost quite a few men. I think just from that general engagement and the fact that he had a lot of archers firing on that general blob probably meant that his Royal Peltas died or suffered a lot of casualties. I'm getting a rear charge with my Massilian Cav on his pikemen, and I believe at this point his Royal Peltas had died, his general had died, so that caused morale shock, and I'm going to time that in with a war cry from my general, and hopefully that'll be enough. Yep, that's enough to send those Royal Peltas running. They had around 40 men when I issued that war cry ability. And I'm going to charge in, just going to ping pong my Massilian Cav between his pikemen. I set my Axe Warriors on an attack order, gave them the ability to throw their javelins, and just when they were about to charge, I fainted and I ran away, and then I got a rear charge with my Massilian Cav. It's given them some kills on his pikemen, and they've got a lot of kills so far, 120 kills almost. I charged into this Thorax Swordsman and backed it up with Massilian Hoplite, which is on Hoplite Phalanx, and it's got a double experience chevron. Meanwhile, what I did earlier, I got a proper downhill charge with my Thorax Swordsman that broke his Thorax Swords, which they actually lasted for quite a while, and it's going to create this pretty big morale shock over here. His pikeman over here got rear charged by my Massilian Hoplite general, and this Thorax Swords, seeing that it's the general has died and a lot of his pikeman friends are dying, they are also starting to waver. His Thorea spears are going to charge into my Massilian Hoplite's general, but Thorea spears are not going to do too much. And he's got one pretty full strength Thessalian Cav who's got a nice charge on my Thorax Swords, but it's an uphill charge. Let's see how many kills that actually got them. Not many actually. Yeah, only like 5 at the end of the day. And it's going to give enough time for my Axe Warriors to come in and bog them down. And I've also got this Massilian Cav, which still has around 15 units left. So it's going to be good enough to just bog those Thessalians down and kill them off. Yeah, they're already starting to waver now. He's got one Thorea spear here that was just engaged with my Levy Freeman. Again, a perfect use for these Levy Freemen was to hold up these Thorea spears. If anything, absorb some javelin volleys and then engage them in melee so that they won't be able to reinforce. And he's just got some some Thorax Swordsmen who are pretty depleted, who are attacking my Massilian Hoplites general. Massilian Hoplites, I take back what I initially said. I think they're very good units, but they just... I stick by parts of what I said. I told that, they aren't game changers. They definitely aren't. I would maximum bring like 2 or 3, but they would be very helpful in shoring up spear line. And they presented a pretty nice, solid target for my enemy to charge in. And after he charged in, they didn't budge. None of them routed, none of them wavered. And in the end, I think that played a big part in me winning this battle. Costly victory to me. And congratulations to Blade Master. He moves on to the, I move on to the round of 8, I believe now. And of course, Indypride, the Milk and Cookies Total War YouTube channel, will have a replay of this exact match. And it'll be pretty fun to see 2 different points of view on the same match. And I'm sure he's got some, some opinions as an unbiased commentator on the outcome of this match and how it played out. My Massilian Hoplites did pretty well, 149 kills on one, 131 on the other, and 36 on the last. I don't know which unit that was this Massilian Hoplites was engaged with. My Thorea spears didn't do much at all. They could have done a lot better. I only brought 3 of them, and I mean, yeah, they could have done a lot better in this match. Credit to Azrail to, in using his Thessalians pretty boldly and then, retreating back and stuff like that. Thorax Swordsman, again, could have played a much bigger part in this game. Didn't really play much of a role. 70 kills on one, 49 on the other. Most of it boiled down to excess numbers that I had with my Axe Warriors and stuff. And the fact that my Massilian cavalry got into his archer line and into the rears of his pikemen pretty early on in the game. Just another reason why I wouldn't pick pikemen in a tournament match. I would never ever pick a pikeman in a tournament match. I just lack the micro and the I guess the general guile to use them effectively, especially in a competitive match. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this replay. Hope you enjoyed it and stay tuned for more. Peace.